Welcome to episode 1, officially, unofficially episode 2 of the My First Car podcast. How you doing, Geoff?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. We have a good one for you today, folks.
Oh yeah.
We have as our guest Jordan Maron, aka CaptainSparklez, and you will not want to miss the car history. Check out the car history on this guy. It is unbelievable, and then a very, very surprising first car. Yeah, you want to stick around for that. He'll be on later in the show. I was really impressed with it.
Yeah, the jump. Oh man,
the jump
first to the. Whew.
Yeah, well, this will be known as the jump episode.
The jump.
I want to thank, before we start, I want to thank our patrons. We have 2 official patrons. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much for the supporting the podcast. And then thank everybody for the incredible response we've gotten.
Yeah. It's looking good. Like the Instagram's blowing up because we're getting so many cool posts on the reddit.com/r/myfirstcar. People are just posting their first cars, and some of them are really, really cool.
Yes. We've got, well, yeah, if you want to, yeah, like you mentioned, r/myfirstcar, if you want to get some of your first cars up on the Instagram page, be sure to leave a picture there and a story. The stories are also great. You read a story by, I guess, Valency Sterling?
Yeah, so this is from our YouTube, obviously My First Car podcast on YouTube. And it just caught my eye because it started off, sadly, my first car was a 90s manual Mazda 323, blah, blah, blah. So it goes on, but the point I want to make about this is there's nothing to be sad about. Like
no, it's
Mazda
never
323.
sadly. No,
it's always your first car.
It's always happy times.
Yeah, happy first car. Like when I got my first car, we talked about this in the last episode, but like, I guess we didn't really talk about how freeing and like independent and just, it's so cool.
It was incredible. Like nobody, I don't think there can't be a moment ever in history where somebody goes and purchases their first car and feels bad about it.
No.
Right? So it's such a liberating experience to just finally have that car and you can just drive wherever you want to go. Yeah.
And like I had a 90 Talon, you had a Ford Fungus.
Ford Fungus. That's what my I think after I sold the car, my cousin started referring to it as the Ford Fungus for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, I'm still not mad about that. I love that little car, even though I never changed the oil in 3 years.
So 323 is pretty cool. Like my second car was a Protege, so 323 Protege, not bad. And you Valenci ended it with a. I hope I'm not blocked because my dream car is a 75 AMC Pacer.
Nothing wrong with
cool.
that.
Yeah.
And she also loves a good gremlin.
Who doesn't?
The 90s Mazda 323. So my dad's car, I think not his first car, but I believe his second car after he came to Canada. He's originally from Portugal. Both my parents are. But after he moved to Canada, he bought a Mazda 626 Chronos in manual as well, and he had like the aftermarket, not even aftermarket, sorry, the upgraded wheels from Mazda put on it and everything. He loved that car.
Okay, so we got to get your dad on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, he's got quite the car history. He's got a car. He's got he still has it actually. I think it's a late 80s Honda Accord, or maybe even early 80s. No, I think it's early 80s Honda Accord.
Really?
In Portugal, that he bought here and took to Portugal.
Really?
Yes. It's actually in his garage currently. It's rotting away, and I've thought about like bringing it over and like fixing it up, but it might be too far gone at this point.
Now, dumb question. What is it? Left-hand drive, right-hand drive, normal?
It is. It's left-hand drive. It's because he bought it here.
No, I mean in Portugal.
In Portugal, yeah, it's also left-hand drive.
Okay, sorry,
yeah, only right-hand drive in the, I guess, Great Britain, all over Great Britain.
Yep.
And some other places.
I
haven't been to too many places over there. But yeah, no, he still got that. And then he had like a little, I think it was a blue something. I think it was a little blue Toyota that I still remember as a kid. And then he got a brown, he got a brown, like 79 Mercedes. It was awesome.
What?
Yeah, it was really cool. But anyway. Now he's driving actually a 2016 Mercedes C-Class, so good for him.
Ooh, yeah.
Not bad at all. Shall we move into the news?
Let's do it.
Okay. Geoff?
Yeah.
You've got something to talk about here, and I was actually thinking about. When we were doing this when we were getting ready for the show, doing the news section. I was actually going to mention this, but you go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I got a couple other things that we need to dive into.
Yeah, we need to. This I thought was pretty cool. This is actually just announced today. Alfa Romeo is going to relaunch the 8C sports car. I just want to read this tweet because it's so cool. Romeo to relaunch 8C sports car with carbon fiber monocoque chassis, twin turbo mid-engine, electrified all-wheel drive system, combined more than 700 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers in less than 3 seconds.
That is amazing.
And it just shows like a little shadow of the car, and it looks sweet.
Oh, do you think that's actually the shape though, or is that just sort of like a promo mock-up?
I don't know. It looks nice though.
with those specs though, what does it even matter what it looks like? Honestly, like that 0 to 60 miles for the American viewers. I think it's like 61 miles or something like that. The direct translation or conversion in less than 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like
now, the 8C has been like one of the coolest cars ever for.
I love the 8C.
A while, right?
Yeah.
They've been making them for a while, but they stopped, I think, in 2010-ish?
2010 was the last year, yeah.
But they were cool looking. And yeah.
I mean, what kind of power did it have back then? It had a 4.7 liter V8, apparently.
Yep.
Which is pretty impressive. But the horsepower, 12.4 second quarter mile, that's actually really good. 0 to 100 in 4.2 seconds. Still impressive, but nothing like under 3 seconds. And it did have 444 horsepower. That's not bad at all.
But the new one, 700.
I know.
That's a big jump.
That is a big leap. The jump.
The jump. I wonder if this one has a scale with a... Nobody will know what that means.
Nobody will know that. More talk on the scale later. Yeah, that is a really cool car. And we're seeing a lot of Alphas in North America now.
Now, I wonder, because they did have a few convertible versions in the past.
Ooh, I don't know if I want a convert.
No,
the thing with
I don't,
convertibles, though, well, I guess now with the technology and stuff, with these, rigid body systems, you don't get too much flex with convertibles, but they're inherently a little less stable than fully formed vehicles, if you will. So it's a little, I don't know, it's kind of scary. 700 horsepower with a convertible.
Oh man,
that's probably happened before.
Yeah, for sure.
Is a 5-year plan, by the way?
Yeah, so it's hashtag 5-year plan.
So in 5 years,
it doesn't really.
It doesn't really say. Yeah, the 8C. No. What a nice car though! Like back when they first started producing them, that was a gorgeous car.
Yeah, big time. So I'm excited to see what comes out from that. Like just judging by the specs, or not the specs, but the tweeted out specs, and the shape of that car. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. And I love the title on it, Resurrection of an Icon.
Yeah. It's if it just looks like that with those specs, it's done deal.
I'll take one.
I'll take one in each color, please.
Mm-hmm. Red.
Red, the only color.
You can have it in any color as long as it's red.
So for me, I wanted to talk about another sort of icon, actually, come to think of it, especially when I was, I guess, late teens, early 20s, was the Golf R. And Volkswagen has, or it's been reported, I won't say they announced it, but it's been reported that the 2020 Golf R will have 400 horsepower in a little sport compact hatchback. That is impressive.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like,
I love the look of these cars. I've always liked the Golf, but yeah.
For comparison,
400.
The current Golf has what was it? I think two something. Wasn't 292. So not even 300. So this is 108 horsepower more.
Wow.
Than the current Golf, and I assume it'll be all-wheel drive. So that thing is just gonna like bolt.
Oh yeah, I love in this article that we have here, the increase in ponies would put the Golf R on par with the Ford Focus RS. Mm-hmm. And above the likes of the Mercedes AMG CLA 45 and the GLA 45. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, Volkswagen just does everything right. sometimes. Like well, I shouldn't say that. A couple years ago, they did a lot of things wrong. But with their vehicle, they really nail the hatch design. Out of all the hatches, like apart from, I think I'm a little biased, but I think the 2010 Subaru STI, which was like incredible. Now that only had, if I remember correctly, 310 horsepower, and it was all-wheel drive. And that thing, I felt like it was insane.
Yeah.
And this is going to have 400.
Yeah, I'll take it after the Alfa Romeo for sure.
Okay, I'll take an 8C and I'll take a Golf R. What else you got for us today?
Wow. Yeah, I used to actually work at a Volkswagen dealership.
Nice.
And playing around with some of the Golfs and, well, I guess the Audis as well, but it's just such an iconic shape. And the picture here, I'm not sure what this picture is. This the current or the?
That's got to be the current. I doubt they have the. I doubt they have the design for the 2020.
So this is the current. Even the current looks really cool.
Yeah,
like I like it, and it's still sticking with the iconic Golf shape.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say I don't think they'll change much, honestly, for the 2020. Maybe some subtle changes and stuff, but they've got such a classic shape that I don't think they. It's kind of like the Porsche at this point, which, by the way, incidentally, is also a Volkswagen product. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I really like these cars. And when I was growing up, this was like one of the cars that all the kids, those crazy kids, they all wanted the Golf R. And when I was looking for a car, I was looking for one of these as well. But they were so out of my price range at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
One day
I'll have a Golf R. Another thing that I wanted to touch on before we get into sightings, Geoff, and this is This is our neighbors. Now, full disclosure, we are Canadian. We have neighbors to the south. That would be the United States of America, and they have a leader that goes by the name of Donald Trump. Okay, so what he wants to do, I don't know if this is official, like he actually wants to do this, but he did mention that he wants a total ban, like not even we're talking a total ban on German luxury car imports.
And that covers Mercedes,
BMW, yeah,
BMW,
and I guess
Audi,
yeah,
and well, Volkswagen isn't luxury, but
I guess it wouldn't be considered a luxury vehicle. No, I wonder if he even considers a luxury vehicle. In the article, it does just mention Mercedes and BMW, but this seems no, Audi as well. It does, it does mention Audi. It seems ridiculous to me. I don't know why.
I'm assuming I have no idea.
His quote is, "When you walk down Fifth Avenue, everybody has a Mercedes-Benz in front of their house. How many Chevrolets do you see in Germany? Not too many, maybe none at all. You do not see anything over there. It's a one-way street." But doesn't that have to do with the quality of vehicles?
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because near the bottom of the article, it actually states that it even shows pictures of all the factories in the United States, in Alabama, in South Carolina.
In South Carolina, the BMW factory employs more than 10,000 workers. That will decimate that town if this happens.
I don't know what he's thinking. I doubt this is actually going to happen, but just the fact that he's saying it is just
like maybe if Chevrolet made something like comparable. What with the Malibu?
I don't know, the Sonic?
The Sonic.
No,
Bring back the Impala and make that your like top of the line vehicle or something. I don't know.
At least Ford with like the Fusion. The Fusion actually looks like a decent luxury. Well, it's not luxury, but it looks like a decent car that could fit in with those guys.
Yeah.
But
it's a nice car.
Chevy.
Oh, and I said bring back the Impala. I had to Google it to realize that it still exists. It actually still exists, the poor Impala. I had a buddy who had one. It was a really cool car. But no, it's you can't compare the two, Donald. I mean, I understand he wants to put, America first sort of thing. But I don't think that's a really fair trade-off.
Now, isn't Mercedes, aren't they part Daimler?
Yes, actually. Well, they should be.
There's an investment there, right?
There should. I don't know if when that whole auto apocalypse happened back in the day when a bunch of companies got bought out. I'm not sure if anything changed on that front. But yeah, now that you mention it, it's Daimler, Chrysler.
Yeah. DSM. And Daimler's an American company. Is it not?
Yes. Well, no, Daimler I think is German. Is it? No, I'm gonna look it up right now.
But a big part of their business is American, obviously.
It's a German multinational automotive corporation. But let's see if it's still affiliated with Chrysler.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
It does say that 22.8% of Daimler's shareholders are from the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah,
a
they
lot
wouldn't
of
be happy.
shareholders. No.
Can you imagine? Okay, so if there are no German luxury vehicles,
Yeah.
what do people buy as a luxury vehicle? You're going to see a lot of Jaguars.
The Cullinan.
The Cullinan, yep. You're going to see some of the... So Bentleys, you're going to see Rolls Royces.
I guess the British car companies are going to explode. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I mean, really, it's just the Jaguar in terms of like sedan, but also, I guess, Range Rover if you're talking SUVs and stuff, or Land Rover, I should say. But there isn't, I don't see, unless I'm not thinking of something, I guess Volvo, would that be? That's not even a luxury vehicle.
No. Safe, but...
I'm probably overlooking some cars. Yeah, it's probably really safe. It's the safest of all cars.
When I think of luxury, though, and like
Yeah.
high class, upper class stuff, you think of Mercedes instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Audi, BMW. Yeah, those are the three that come to mind. So
there'd be a lot less accidents because BMWs are known to not use signals.
I was gonna make a joke like that too. It'd probably be a lot safer on the road, that's for sure.
With all the Volvos, too.
Oh man, yeah, that's right. All the Volvos and no terrible BMW drivers. Just kidding, BMW drivers.
Yeah, you guys are great.
We love you. It's just an interesting thing to think about that Trump has, but he said a lot of things, so who knows? And I'm not making a judgment politically at all. Whatever you want to support is your. That statement, however, is a little bit. I don't know. I can't. It's not interesting.
And as a car podcast, we got to make it known that that's ridiculous.
That is a little ridiculous. Like no ban cars. We love all cars matter. All of them.
Yeah.
Like we should have cars. Oh, that wasn't a reference, by the way, to the. No. I just meant I literally. Okay, let's move on, Geoff.
Okay, so we're gonna get into some sightings because we've seen some interesting things this week.
I didn't mean it like that, folks. Just calm down.
Calm.
There was no reference to the other hashtag movement. I didn't even say hashtag, so just leave me alone.
What's sightings?
Sightings. Okay, Geoff, what did you see? You first.
Okay. Okay, so we haven't talked about, or we haven't shared what these are yet.
No.
But this week I saw something kind of cool that I'm interested to get your feedback on. The 2018 Kia Stinger.
Oh, it's funny that you mentioned that. I did see one the other day. Now, this is not my sighting officially, but I did see one the other day at a Canadian Tire parking lot, and I was impressed.
Yeah, I agree.
The one that I saw was like a shark gray. Like that's the only way I know how to describe it. It was like a gray, but it wasn't even like a gloss. It was sort of like it was hard to describe color, but it was gorgeous.
Yeah, and these things are so brand new from Kia. They're stepping up their game big time with like, I don't even know what you call this. This is what class does this go with? Like, who's this against?
Right,
BMWs
Well, I guess so, but at that price, like...
it's only $44,000.
Yeah, it starts from $44,000. Now, is that Canadian? That's Canadian.
That's Canadian.
So we're looking at like high 30 or mid to high 30s for American dollars, I would say.
That's a bargain.
That is a bargain, and it's up to 365 horses. Like, come on.
Yeah. And that interior...
It's a good-looking vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, nothing about it that I hate. Like, this car is... I was so impressed, and it kind of made me do a double take. Like, I looked at it and like, what is that? And I had to take a closer look. And the guy was actually at his car. I think he was like changing the washer fluid or something in the Canadian Tire parking lot. As you do. It's a commonplace. But I almost wanted to like talk to him, but I thought it would be weird. I was going to ask him how it was and stuff. But the car, I was really, really impressed by it.
Yeah, and like Car and Driver rates it 4 stars out of 5, and U.S. starting price tag is $32,000. 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds.
That is not bad at all for a full size sedan.
Yeah, and you could fit a ton of people in there, and you got trunk space, and the GT looks nice.
The GT, I think that's the one that I saw too. I think it was the GT trim. Kia's been really stepping their game up recently, though.
Yeah, big time.
Like even ever since I saw the Forte, I saw kind of like, what was the first year of the Forte? I want to know now.
14, 15, probably.
Was it? Yeah. Ever since I saw that vehicle, I was like, that is a solid looking vehicle for a really decent price. These guys are doing something right.
So yeah, the GT, the Stinger GT comes all-wheel drive V6.
Oh, really? It's a V6 as well, and it comes in all-wheel drive. That's really nice.
Yeah, and it's full-size sedan, trunk space, like luxury interior too.
So the Forte actually was first released in 2009.
Okay.
So they've been doing a good job for a while, and I believe if the stats are correct, when I was working with, I actually worked for Auto Trader. And we would get like vehicle statistics and stuff and sales and stuff. And Kia was on the rise even way back then, probably around 2008, 2009. So they're doing a lot of things right. Can't hate them.
I really like the Forte Coupe.
Yes.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Or the Forte 5. The Forte 5 is actually really nice, the new ones.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. I'm looking at this 360 view of the interior. That is an interior I'd like to be in. That is a really nice looking interior.
They did a really good job, and like this is a brand new car, so clearly it's not based on anything. I'm not sure even what the chassis is based on because I don't know what other Kia is the size of that thing, but
that's true.
Nice.
I think it's probably like a. You know what? It's funny. We both had similar, I guess, sightings. Because the one that I picked was I saw for the first time on the road. I saw a 2018 Giulia, Alfa Romeo.
Oh,
Giulia, yeah, and it was really nice. I had seen it before, like on the internet and pictures and stuff, and I was like, it's okay. But this thing was actually really, really good looking in person.
It just looking at it from the back, it does remind me of the Stinger actually.
Right? We picked. I mean, this one's. I wonder what the price difference is, and like that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now it says it starts at 51,000, so already you're looking at.
Oh yeah, it goes up drastically.
So you're looking at like a $7,000 difference with that. The performance.
The base, yeah.
Let's see here. Now I know these things have ridiculous performance. Available all-wheel drive system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. A turbo 4-cylinder engine. Interesting. Oh, look at that. Listening to the audio for that. That's pretty crazy. 280 horsepower. 306. Now that's probably one of the options. I wouldn't say that's the official or the only engine available. But anyway,
the big one, the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quad something. I can't pronounce that.
Yeah, the Italian one.
So 2.9 liter, 505 horsepower V6 twin turbo, 8-speed automatic.
Is that the one that is also in the Ferrari?
Ooh,
I've heard that.
Really?
Yes, the Quadrifoglio. A Quadrifoglio. Hey, I don't know if I'm doing that right. Oh my God, that's another insult. I think I just. Oh,
yeah,
I
just swore in Italian.
I'm really just
sure.
stepping on. I just swore in Italian. Hey, Quadrifoglio.
Hey.
Wait a minute. I want to find out now if this engine, because I've heard. I don't know if it's official though.
Mm-hmm.
If it's the same one as like the Ferrari engine. Let's see. It says so. The Sun.uk reviewed it, and it says the 191 mile per hour Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, a Ferrari with an Alfa badge.
Oh, really? So here's your 4-door sedan Ferrari.
This will be nice to go and buy some milk in.
Only for 90,000.
The same lump as I don't know what a lump means, but it says officially neither Alfa Romeo or Ferrari will admit that the 191 mile per hour Giulia Quadrifoglio uses the same lump as the California T with 2 cylinders popped off. I'm guessing it's the same. I'm guessing lump means engine.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's a lump.
A lump.
The Giulia was engineered apparently by the same man who gave us the Ferrari 458.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's cool. So yeah, the base model could compare against the Stinger for sure, but then the Ferrari engine Kind of blows it out.
Honestly, I think if I'm going price for price at the base model Alpha, I'd probably take the Stinger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because you got to imagine it's not going to be cheap after your lease is up or your warranty is up on that Alpha to keep that thing running. And Kia, come on, Kia, you're going to be around. You're going to find a Kia dealership on every corner.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of like the Kia interior better than this one too.
Do you?
A little bit.
Yeah, that 360 view. Just pop yourself right in there and imagine yourself driving that car. It's a good little car.
The red looks nice.
How about the exterior styling though? Come on, the Giulia is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's true.
Especially the quadrifoglio. I'm getting better and better with saying that stuff.
Your voice is going higher and higher though.
Quadrifoglio. Can't get any higher. Before it gets any higher, maybe we should. Maybe it's time to bring our guest on. Our guest today is Jordan Maron, better known through his online pseudonym CaptainSparklez, American YouTube personality. We have that in common, although I'm not American and I have very little personality. Well, you've got...
All right, so we have a lot in common.
You've got how many subscribers now on your main channel? You have 4 channels, correct?
I know, it's quite a lot. Only 3 of them are really me, though. One's a music channel, music curation, but it's about 10 million on the main. And then it tapers off from there pretty heavily.
I don't know how you manage. I can barely manage 1, and you're managing 4.
I can't even manage any.
I mean, I have 1 employee editor, so that helps a little bit. And otherwise, some people on contract who help out here and there. But it's busy, but a good kind of busy.
Yeah, a good kind of busy is always fun, quote unquote. You can't see what I'm doing with my hands, but I'm making air quotes, making air quotes with my hands. So what you got going on? Anything interesting? Upcoming stuff that we should look out for?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to think. Not any major video project announcements that I am aware of. I mean, I have lately been trying to shift things up to get the reason why I have all the channels is to try to get it so each one goes to a certain kind of content, whereas in the past I kind of just put everything on my main. YouTube doesn't really like that approach anymore, so I've been trying to do my best to adapt and switch to everything being its own unique type of content, so that when one person watches one video, the rest of the library kind of mirrors that interest. So that's what my biggest focus has been as of late, and I think I'm kind of getting into the groove of it. But as such, no big major projects that I'm aware of. I need to release more music. I'm just really bad at actually sitting down and working on tracks when I need to. But that's that.
There is one thing that you've sort of started, I say recently, you say not so recently, is that the car podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm just very inconsistent at it. So I try to get a guest. We go for a little drive, talk about life. If they have an interest in cars, talk about some car-related stuff while driving. And I think I did the first one about over a year ago. And I've done like 4 total, so I'm really
4 in a year. That's not bad. You release them quarterly.
Yeah, definitely. It's gone perfectly every 3 months. I'd like to do it on at least a monthly basis if possible. And hopefully I'll be able to do that. I feel like going for a drive, and I shouldn't mention cars now because we're going to go through the history, but going for a drive in the car they would be driving in, or there's a selection that if they don't want the one I think they'd want, is appealing to maybe even traditional media celebrity people. So we'll see who I can get on board.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what is the name of that podcast so we can tell everybody?
It is currently going for a drive with blank in the blank.
I hope the actual name
title
has the word blank in it, because that would be amazing.
Yeah, they get to I have to click on the video in order to find out. It's a good form of clickbait.
Going for a drive in the blank with blank. That's awesome, man. How are things going for you personally? Everything cool?
Yeah, I don't really know of the difference between business and personal when it comes to you do YouTube as your life, because it kind of is your life. So however things are doing on YouTube,
Translates
that's
directly.
how things are doing for me personally. It's all kind of all intertwined, which maybe that's a bad thing, but I don't know any differently.
Yeah.
Now I got to ask. I do follow you on Instagram, and how many days a week do you work out?
I guess that doesn't come into videos unless I do a gym video. So I guess
Yeah.
it's sort of
Fifth
on the
channel
personal
idea?
side. It's every day. It's I can't do that. I'll integrate it into the vlog channel as I have done when there's something interesting. And in fact, the next vlog will be at
there
a
you
gym.
go.
So it'll be another installment in that whole category. It's every day though.
Okay.
So I worked it into my usual routine, and now if I miss a day, it's actually I get kind of stressed.
Yeah.
So I have to make it there. This coming week, 2 weeks, oh God, it's so busy, and I think I'm gonna miss a couple days, and just the thought of that in advance makes me more stressed.
Maybe just do like some push-ups in your bedroom just so you don't feel super stressed. At least you did something, right? Something's better than nothing.
It doesn't quite do it. Although I am bummed because I guess maybe I go too much. I gave myself some stretch marks under my right armpit. I've never gotten stretch marks ever before in my life, and it happened. The early signs were back in like February after I had strep throat for about a week. I was just in bed. I couldn't do anything. And then right after that was finished, I went back pretty hard into the gym, started back on the protein shakes and the creatine, and I guess it just was too much. And so I noticed these tiny little, they were like really deep purpley under my armpit, and then they expanded, faded a little bit, and I looked up some images online. I'm like, all right, I gave myself some stretch marks.
I did the same thing
are
after my
permanent.
first
This
pregnancy,
sucks.
so don't feel too bad about it.
I'm sorry that you're a seahorse.
I am a seahorse.
But it's very impressive that we're having this conversation.
Right? Maybe we should move on. Maybe we should move on to the car stuff.
What's this show
Yeah,
about?
the cars. Remember the cars? Okay, so without telling us what your first car was, can you? I guess just describe what your car history has been.
I mean, you just want me to
You
list
can
out
list them
the
out.
makes and
Yeah,
models in
absolutely.
the order? I just wrote this down before we started because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything and keep it straight. So, after my first car, second car, there was a bit of a jump in quality between 1 and 2. So I went to a Mercedes CLS 63. That was a 2012.
How old were you at this point?
How old was I? I think I was 20. Yeah.
So this is already YouTube. This is everything, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2012 CLS 63. I got that new. Then it was a 2011 Ferrari 458. Got that used in 2012. Then after that, I think it was about a year later, to replace the CLS 63, I got a Bentley Continental GT.
Nice.
And then after that, I moved to a house that has my current house, 3 garage spaces. So I decided that on top of having the 458 and the Continental GT, it'd be nice to have a car that I don't quite have to worry about as much. So I got a Fiat 500 Abarth.
Nice.
Sounded delightful, very, very convenient. You can park it anywhere, no issue. I really enjoyed it. Then I ended up replacing the 458 with a McLaren 675 LT. Then I ended up replacing the Bentley Continental GT with Ferrari 458 Spider. I really like the 458 Coupe. The McLaren is a much better driver's car, but the sound of a naturally aspirated V8 is really, really nice, and Ferrari does a very good job on that. So I still have the 458 Spider. Then I ended up deciding back in October that the Fiat, it was a combination of things. I had it for a couple of years. I had some like electrical issues with it. The Bluetooth didn't work anymore. I was annoyed with that. It started getting, it got probably a flat tire every 3 months or so, because I think the wheels are so small that it just can dig into a pothole. There's a lot of construction around my house. It got like screws in it a couple times. And so it was a combination of, let's just get something new and those things. So I traded that out for a Mercedes C63S, which is currently what I have. In that spot, and then most recently swapped out the McLaren 675 LT for the grand finale, the Ford GT.
Now that's what I wanted to ask you about, the Ford GT. You've heard the news and stuff, right? the Ford GT news.
John
now
Cena.
is this? Yeah. Like, have you heard about?
That's not new news, but I think I'm probably up to date on whatever in the world has gone on. Ford GT
exactly.
related,
Like,
yes.
what do you think about that whole situation? Like, Ford is not allowing, I guess, the owners of their vehicles to. I mean, it's not that they're not allowing it.
I have a very inflexible stance on this, which is that my word is very important to me, and if I say I'm going to do something, unless I die or something like that, I'm going to execute it to the fullest of my ability. And when all I have to do is not sell something that's really enjoyable to have, like, that's pretty easy. I didn't expect to get a car in the first place. Like, I was definitely way out on the margins of, you have the core people who have had Fords all their life. They had the previous car, and then there were kind of the few that Ford let in from the outside, and I was one of those. And so I want to hold up my end of the bargain as best I possibly can, take it to shows, put it out on social media, create content about it, and abide by a contract that I signed. So regardless of whether a court ends up finding whether it's enforceable, you agreed to it. So I hope that Ford is able to enforce it. And now we don't just have the John Cena case, but we have the one that was sold at Mecum a couple weeks back, which was, I guess, the original owner handed it off to someone else, and then that person was the person who went through the auction. And then, the speech that they gave, the guy who was hosting the auction, before they brought it out on the block, it hurt me inside. I was like, this is so entitled and unnecessary, man. Just
and
stick to your word. It's not that hard.
The contract only for 2 years?
Yeah, it's 2 years.
So...
And I guess their argument. So I think Ford is updating it now because of these two things. For me, I signed the build sheet, and on the build sheet, it said you agree not to resell the car for 2 years. At the dealership, when I was signing the paperwork at delivery, it was a standard sales contract, so there was nothing about the resale time frame on that one. But it's like, look, I signed the build sheet. It said 2 years, which is what everyone else did. And so it's just like, why you got to look for these loopholes? Just be nice.
Enjoy your Ford GT for a couple of years.
Yeah. Like, worst case scenario, if you really want to keep that resale, I guess you don't have to drive it. It doesn't seem fun not to drive it, but you didn't sign a contract that said you were going to drive X number of miles, so you're not breaking any word that you gave by not doing it. So, I mean, at the very least, just do that. Just do that.
Now, do you think they're only selling it just to make money? At least like this recent one, but what about, I don't know if John Cena, if we know how much he made on it, but I'm assuming he made a ton of money.
Late on John Cena's finances, the miles he had on the car when he sold it. I mean, maybe he attempted to get in the car and it was not really feasible for someone of his stature.
Yeah.
I saw a video that he put out when, I assume, around when he took delivery, and he was able to get in it, but it was probably tight. So I don't know. Maybe he was like, well, this isn't going to work for me, so I'll just offload it. There are people who have business managers and attorneys and whatnot who handle everything without them ever looking at it. Yeah. So give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he personally did not realize, but someone knew. Someone knew and just decided to ignore it.
Yeah, those things, they don't even have those seats inside are next to each other. You are rubbing elbows with whoever's in that car with you.
It's actually, it's more spacious than I thought it was going to be, because I had seen all the press about how you are rubbing elbows with the passenger. I had seen video of the cockpit with two people seated next to each other. I'm like, yeah, you're pretty close. But then when you get in, at least with the people I've driven with, it's never really been too cozy for comfort. I haven't gone over the weight capacity yet. This is not a thing that people commonly make reference to with the car, but it has a sticker on the passenger side, I think, that says, do not exceed passenger weight capacity of 330 pounds. So there can basically be two of me. Otherwise, we're going over the recommended weight capacity.
Wait, is that, really, that's for both seats? Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't think the car is going to snap in half.
Right, yeah.
Go over it. But it's just something to keep in mind. Look, if someone who's a little heavier than I am wants to get in, I'm not going to be like, no, you're not allowed to. I bring a scale.
Yeah, you got to pull out the scale.
The rear cargo capacity. A small scale is probably the only thing I'd be able to fit in there, but I can carry that around, and I'll bring it out whenever anyone needs to get
It should
in the
come
car.
with a Ford branded scale. That
really
should be a thing that the car comes with. Like Bentley's got the umbrellas.
I
There
think
would
that's
be
more
no
of a
Rolls-Royce,
thing.
sorry, yeah. And then
Yes.
you just pull out the scale.
Absolutely. Ford, if you hear this, that's what you're missing.
Yeah, but where would they put it?
Future deliveries.
Where would they put it?
That's what I'm saying. It'd fill up the rear cargo capacity.
Yeah.
So maybe they do the Rolls-Royce umbrella thing where they have a slot for it in maybe the carbon sill.
Just slides right out.
Yep.
That'd be amazing.
Now, is this your favorite car that you've ever owned by far?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I have yet to get it out on the track. So we'll see. But so far, it's everyone who complains about the V6. I don't think they've ever driven one. So it's a purely conceptual complaint. And I can say that having driven plenty of V8 cars, I don't notice any lack of power. It goes pretty quick. It corners super flat. I thought it was going to be more unwieldy as far as like how big it is. You just have to compensate a little bit for you're more centered when you drive it, so you have a little more space on your right side, so you don't have to worry too much about accidentally hitting a parked car, scraping a parked car, but you have the car is out a little bit more on your left side, so you kind of have to pay attention to the center divider.
Yeah, definitely.
Versus a normal
Have you
car.
ever had a right-hand drive vehicle?
I
Have you
have
driven
not.
one?
Never driven a
That-
right-hand drive. That's not really a thing that you encounter in the US.
I have owned one. It was a little British MG,
Really?
yeah, and it was right-hand drive, and man, is that an experience, especially turning left.
Was it right-hand drive and manual?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's bizarre.
That just breaks my brain. I can't figure.
You get used to it, but a
Driving
couple of
manual.
times I found myself smashing my hand into like my my driver's side door because I was like reaching for the gear shift on my right when it was on my left. Now the pedals are all in the same place, but everything else is kind of strange. Making a left turn, I'm telling you, at lights was an adventure. You can't see anything that's coming.
You can't see around the other
Exactly.
car making a left the other way. Yeah, that would. Oh
Yeah,
God.
I like to drive with a co-driver so that they could tell me what's coming. They were my eyes when I was making left turns.
Yeah, that would make it a little tough. There's one of the possible future cars for me could be a GT40 replica car, and they offer it in left-hand drive, but right-hand drive, but also with the right-hand gear shift in the door sill.
Oh,
What?
Just like the Le Mans
Really?
car.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's an option. I don't know how convenient that would be, but it's there. It'd be pretty trick if you open the door to a passenger and you're like, "Hey, you're going in the driver's
yeah, no
seat."
kidding, right?
Or what you expect to be the driver's seat. And also the gear shift is over. You don't even see it. It's on my right.
Wow.
Have you always considered yourself like a car guy?
I guess. I never really thought I'd be able to own cool
Right.
cars growing up. But from a young age, I would always be identifying car makes on the freeway. I'd call out like, oh, that's a Honda. Oh, that's a Toyota. Oh, that's a Mercedes. And I would go to the Peterson Museum with my mom every now and again when I was super duper young. And yeah, it's kind of just continued from there. I was always very envious of kids at my high school who got cool cars. I remember someone got an M3 brand new.
Nice.
Oof.
For a high
Yeah,
schooler,
and he
very
went
nice.
What kind of high school did you go to?
Public high school, but there were some very, very wealthy families that sent their kids there. Yeah.
Now, what was your dream car growing up?
I'm trying to think on that one.
As kids, we probably all have a bunch of dream cars.
man.
but-
I mean, I always thought the Murcielago
Yeah.
yeah.
was pretty awesome. And let's see, Murcielago, Ferrari 430 was another one, 360, 430. And I mean, the Ford GT came when I was like 13, 14, so that's not the childhood dream car, but more teenage. And I thought that was pretty cool. Didn't think I'd own the next one. But thank you, Ford, for excusing me from previous ownership because I was 13 when that GT came out. So I couldn't get one.
I was a little older. I am a little older, I guess. I wasn't a little older. I am a little older than you are. So growing up, my cars were a lot boxier. Like for me, it was like the Countach, the old Countach, Lamborghini Countach, or the Lotus Esprit. Like those cars were like the thing to have. The wedge shape.
We could probably age each other because mine would be the Diablo.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So we've got three generations here. Well, the Diablo would have been like when I was really young and got like the first car poster. That's what would have been the Lambo at the time.
You ever been into like older cars, classic cars or anything?
I would love one day Mercedes 300 SL or an actual GT40. But the thing that is a little worrisome about, even if I got to a place where I could buy one, which who knows if that ever happens, it's if you crash in one of those, you die.
Yes. Especially the 300 SL being the first sort of like official supercar where there isn't much protection between you and the engine that's sitting right behind you.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know if you've ever watched any videos on YouTube of car crash tests between a modern car and an old car, but it's not good in the old car.
Don't tell Dan, he drives a bunch of
I
old cars.
I do drive a bunch of old cars. I know it's not good. I mean, I have one of my old cars has no seatbelt, so
okay.
Yeah.
You can probably get those installed and retrofitted.
Yeah, you can. You can. But it just makes it more exciting.
I mean, I guess if it's a convertible, then you can't get crushed if you're not in the car.
I guess that is true. that's a plus.
Yep.
So I guess now's the moment we've all been waiting for. After these amazing cars, you're going to tell us about your very first car.
Most amazing one
Exactly,
of all.
the one that started your car owning dreams.
Yep. So initially, I didn't think I was going to get a car when I turned 16. Didn't expect it. And I thought my mom would only periodically let me use hers. But she surprised me one day. It was in the summer after I had turned 16. And she's like, you know what? I think it was more for her, but it definitely benefited me greatly. But she did not want to have to deal with me driving her car on a regular basis. She didn't want to have to deal with hauling me around. And so I put in like all of the money that I had. She just completed the rest of it. And I got, because safety was primary concern, not a Mercedes 300 SL, unfortunately. It was a 97 Volvo V90 station wagon turbo.
Wow, turbo. Nice. It's a turbo.
Didn't dyno it, so I don't know how many horsepower had fallen off by that point. It wasn't the most powerful thing in the world, but I will tell you, that thing had storage space.
I bet it did. Wow. As a 16-year-old driving around in a Volvo wagon, you were...
I didn't surf, but that would be the surfer's dream car.
Oh, yeah.
And I drove with the back seats down, didn't really carry passengers too often, so it was just basically a warehouse that I was driving around with. That
is really cool. I kind of have a thing. I like the older Volvos. Their boxy style. It just does it for me.
I will tell you, it is so much better with that boxy shape because it allows for so much more cargo room. Because now they have them all rounded for style and everything, but that just kills off any room that you can put for a big object because you can't fill out to those corners. So it was so much more practical with the old design. It looked like a brick that had a snout coming out of it, but just unbelievable cargo.
And super safe.
Wow.
Yep, never had to test that, but
thankfully,
apparently quite safe.
Oh man, wow! I was not expecting that. I mean, as a 16-year-old,
you expect a Civic,
something,
or a Focus, or something.
Something that's like the very cheap end of kind of sporty.
Yeah, exactly. But the V90 Volvo station wagon.
My mom had a Volvo station wagon when I was young. In fact, before the Prius that she got. So my mom, in my entire life, has owned 3 cars, and up until like 6 months ago, it would have been 2 cars because she just got a new Prius. It kills me a little bit. And I have owned 9, and that's been in the span of like 6 years.
Mom needs to step her car game up. What color was your car?
It was almost like a British racing green.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say brown.
Reference.
I was really hoping you'd say brown.
No. Nope. Sorry.
Did you do anything to it? Any modifications or anything?
No, not at all. I modified it by accidentally dinging the hood on part of the rear bumper of a truck, and so it had a little kind of aero speed vents on the front where the ding happened.
Speed holes. Yeah, the speed holes.
Yeah. And that's the only accident I've ever been in, actually. Well, I should say on a public road. I once backed my dad's when I was like 14. It was on private property, and I thought I was in drive. Actually, I was in reverse, and so I backed it into a tree.
Ooh.
The tree just jumped out of nowhere.
It was like a couple thousands in damage, which is, when it comes to car repairs, doesn't take much to do a couple thousand in damage. So it wasn't too bad, but I felt really badly about it.
What eventually happened to the Volvo? Did you like trade it in for your Mercedes? I couldn't keep a straight
gave it to my stepdad's family for parts, I think.
Okay.
We're just like, sure, we'll use the engine and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what you're gonna do with it, but if you guys want it, great.
Did you feel bad at all? No memories, like you didn't get attached to it or anything?
No, I was ready to move on to greater things.
Well, yeah, when your step up is a Mercedes, it's not a bad step up.
Yeah, it was a 15-year newer model, and it had, what was it? I think it was 530 horsepower, around that. So it was a bit of a step up in power.
Just a little more than the Volvo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not as safe.
I would think 15 model years probably count for quite a bit of safety.
It probably is. That's the sad thing. It probably is safer than the Volvo. Poor Volvo. So yeah, you just you were actually did you drive the Volvo to the dealership when you picked up your Mercedes?
No,
Okay.
I did not.
Okay.
Was it gone? No, I had 2 parking spaces at the apartment, so they were side by side.
Oh, really?
A little bit until the Volvo was taken away.
They were garage mates for a while, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That poor Volvo.
Probably like a month or so.
Wow. That's an incredible first car. I really hope that, well, I don't know. You said you probably don't have any pictures of the first one, right?
I don't.
Who would want pictures
so.
of that? Am I right? Just kidding.
Pretty
Volvo
much.
fans.
I mean, I'm sure when I bought it, maybe my mom took a photo, but I don't know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have photos of the rest. I know on Instagram I have photos of the GT, the Continental GT through current day, but the 458, the initial 458 and the CLS 63 were pre-Instagram, so I'd have to dig through an old phone.
Well, that was your car history is not very I guess attainable.
Hey,
that is.
I didn't think it would be attainable when I was younger either. So you never know.
That's true. You never know. That was
there you
it's
go.
really, really impressive. A lot of really cool cars. I'm so glad you got the Ford GT too. That's like one of my favorite cars these days.
I'm pretty stoked on it as well. Thank you.
What color is it? I don't. Oh, is it blue? I think I've seen some pictures of it.
Yeah, it's Miami blue. It's
Yeah.
a Porsche color that they did paint to sample on.
Now, are you going to get the GT40?
I'm deciding. There are a few possibilities for the next car, and I have not figured it out yet, but it would be subbing out the 458.
You got to keep those garage spaces updated.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it's like you have to buy the warehouse or something and store the cars there, but we're not there quite yet.
One day.
Now, if you had to go back to one of your older cars, not the Volvo, if you had to go back to one of them, not any of the ones that you have now, which one would you choose above the rest of them?
I mean, which am I subbing it out? That's the question, because it depends on the space.
Okay, so all current cars are gone.
All current cars are gone, and I can only have one car, period?
Yeah.
Ooh. See, That's tough. If I can only have one car, it needs to be something I can take anywhere. So I'd have to just go with the CLS 63 because I wouldn't be able to take. I would take the C63S over the CLS 63 because they improved the transmission dramatically since then. CLS 63, when I got it and I switched it into manual mode, I had a couple instances where I'd be, say, like fourth gear, I'd downshift. It wouldn't do anything. I'm like, did the button not, did the paddle not press? Did it not register? I hit it again and then go 4 to 2 and make a terrible sound while I was at it. And I'm like, all right, so this just isn't going to be a thing that I do. So I always drove it in automatic.
Yeah.
Fortunately, since then, they've made it so the transmission does not do that. And I was a little bit wary of actually getting another Mercedes until I went to a Michelin tire launch event back in January of 2017, and I got to drive one of the current gen C63S's, the coupe, and I was like, oh God, all right, we're in manual. Am I going to break this thing? And it worked well. So I was like, all right, back on the table. Everything's better transmission-wise than the C63S, but you said I had to choose something else, so it would be the CLS 63, I suppose, so that I could park it anywhere.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Great answer. I thought you were going to say the Fiat, but I guess not.
I would prefer, if it's my only car, I want something with a little more power.
A little more power than the Fiat, just a tiny bit.
The Fiat, it sounds great, but I'm spoiled by other cars. It's just not that quick.
No kidding. Jordan, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Thanks
for having me.
It was great. You definitely have a great taste in vehicles, and I look forward to your next Instagram post, where you will post.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
And if you're ever up in Toronto, you can come for a drive in one of our cars.
Yeah,
I was there actually back in February to see the GT on the production line.
There you go. Yeah, come.
It's really cold.
I'll take you for a ride in my '63 Galaxy with no seatbelts. Show you what real danger is all about.
In the snow.
Snow, I would never.
10 degrees
that would
Fahrenheit.
Be impossible. Absolutely impossible. Yeah. So if you want to check out more of Jordan, he's got a plethora of channels you can check out. He's got youtube.com/CaptainSparklez, CaptainSparklez 2, Jordan Maron, which is your vlog channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And Maron Music, of course.
So you have those all written down, and you memorize that?
I'm just looking at your channel page right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I was gonna be impressed. Still impressed.
Just kidding. I memorized them all before this. Reciting them all off by memory. Thanks so much for joining us, man. It was great having you.
Thank you very much.
A pleasure.